Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the channel. I am aTone. This is aTone Tarot. Sagittarius, we're going to be tapping in and seeing what you need to know for the first half of February. I'm going to pull 10 cards from the tarot. I'll also be taking a look at your career and finance via my career and oracle deck. I'll then get into some characters and individuals operating around you, Sag, to see who you need to see is going to have impact to your life in the first 2 weeks of February. I'll also, for my cross watchers out there at the end of this spread, we're going to get nosy and get up into Sagittarius' business and find out what's the tea for my Sages. All right. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's get up into this message. But before we do so, if you could, please go ahead, smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. As well as, if it don't apply, let it fly. Take what resonates and leave the rest, Sag. If it ain't your message, don't force it. All right, let's see what my Sagittarius need to know for the first 2 weeks of February. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I hope all is well with you guys out there. To my new viewers, welcome to the channel. To my returning viewers, welcome back. All right, what we got going on with my Sag in the first 2 weeks of February? What do they need to know? Cards, please, Spirit, for my Sag collective. I don't do cards that fall on the floor, Sag, but we'll see if it comes back out. Have all your cards on the floor, Sag. What's up with it? Another one on the floor. Usually when my cards fall on the floor, when I've noticed, is that that's something that, you know how you want to say something, but you change your mind. Like, never mind, I don't want to say that. That's that type of energy. Like, nah, I'm not going to say that. Nah, we ain't going to tell them that. It's second guessing of the energy. All right, let's get up into your message. Sag, you have the the Knight of Swords, the Emperor, Strength, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Two of Wands in reverse, the Four of Wands, the Seven of Wands, King of Swords, Two of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. All right, I mean, I just got to say it. And again, if I'm triggering anybody, that says a lot. It's probably some truth into what I'm about to say. Y'all just being mean. Like, whoever is around you, your friends, family, they look at you like, oh, Sag is just not in a good mood. You know, where they're accustomed to you being a little warmer, you haven't been as of late. You don't have much conversation for people. And what you do say comes off very edgy and mean, Sag. You sound very mean when you talk to people. I'm just telling you that. Like, that's a message from your friends and family. They may not want to tell you that because they understand why you have an attitude, but it still is like, I ain't do it. Save some of that for somebody else. Your friends and family are definitely giving you grace as it relates to accepting and dealing with this energy that you're bringing that is ice cold, Sag. I'm speaking to a Sagittarius collective that is very militant, no nonsense, don't have very much pleasantries and time for frivolous conversation. Yeah, y'all about y'all business. If it ain't about business, if it ain't about money, if it ain't about how to take over the world, you don't want nothing to do with it. You don't want nothing to do with it. And I think the frustration or the source of this frustration for my Sag is because they might have been working towards something and doing something a certain way for a long period of their life. And they're tired of doing it the right way and not getting back the right response is what I'm picking up on. It's like, you know how they say nice guys finish last? I'm picking up on a Sag that has decided they ain't going to be nice no more. Fuck that. Because they don't want to finish last no more. They're not going to be given as much grace as they were in the past. Yeah. The old Sagittarius is no more. You know, it's like I'm picking up on a Sag to say that wet behind the ears, green, hi, happy, jolly, go lucky person. They ain't there no more. This person that I'm channeling for, this Sag collective that I am channeling for is no nonsense right now. Very straight face, conversation real high level. And even then, when you say something to them, the Sag is going to be like, why you want to know that? Like that, I'm just trying to make conversation. Never mind. That's the energy you giving off, Sag. Your energy level is not what people are accustomed to. And it's a bit of a disappointment for some of the people around you. And you don't care. You like, that's on them. They going to have to figure it out. Those are your feelings. You're going to have to figure it out. I have spent way too much of my life, I'm speaking from the Sag's perspective, I've spent way too much of my life being quiet, considerate, and giving grace to people that I don't think would give me the same grace. There's an attitude and bitterness all up in this spread. But that bitterness and attitude and maybe the prickly way that my Sag is behaving right now is going to be the motivation to get you, Sag, across the finish line. But be mindful that, you know, carrying resentment for people around you may not be the best course of action as far as your momentum to move forward in whatever it is that you thought you were being held up by in the past. Because I will say this, and again, I don't want to trigger nobody. For whatever reason, you ain't get to wherever you want to be in your life right now, Sag. You can't blame all of that on someone else, right? I know you made some plans with a particular individual that you thought you would be with for a while and may not be working out. And, you know, this person lied to you and they over promised and under delivered. And now you want to put in some boundaries and say, you know what, screw this. Because look at this King and Queen of Swords, how their knives or swords are almost touching and perfectly connecting with each other. That's like two people being at odds with each other and just bumping heads and cannot, you know, move forward. And somebody wants y'all to go back to what y'all used to be in that puppy love stage. And my Sag is like, no, I'm good. I'm operating by myself. You know, there's an African parable that says, if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go together, right? And I'm picking up on a Sag that's like, fuck going far. I need to go fast because I've lost a lot of time, energy, etc., dealing with the collective and trying to bring along everybody. I ain't doing that no more. I do not want to bring everybody. I can't bring everybody. You can't make all the horses drink. You can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink, Sag, is what you're realizing. And in realizing that, all of that kumbaya, let's get together and make a plan, Sag ain't doing that. That is the type of conversation or position you used to play amongst your village. And you like, I'm worrying about myself now. I'm picking up on, you know how they say you gain momentum when you start throwing stuff and people from the boat. Sag is throwing people from the boat and throwing shit off the boat left and right. I'm speaking to a Sag that at one point they used to be a hoarder when it came to their friends and family. They kept everybody, you know, they wanted to pick everybody's brain apart. They wanted to invite everybody to the dinner. They wanted to make sure everybody understood what they knew. They wanted to share all of their knowledge and gifts with everybody. Nah, this Sagittarius has closed ranks considerably. And when I say considerably, if the Sag ain't got no kids, then it's just the Sag that the Sag is concerned about. But it's the Sag and the children that they are directly responsible for. And if those children are young adults, they can kick rocks too, as far as this Sag is concerned. You grown, I did what I was supposed to do for you. You better make sure you can take care of yourself, because I'm on a mission to propel my life forward by any means necessary. I don't care whose feelings are hurt in the process. And you're like, say hello to the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy. You got to. You realize you have to, because you have been hustling backwards for a very long time by way of enduring people around you and their ignorances because they have a certain title. You know, this could be a parental figure that's holding you back to some degree. However they are, whether it be because, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you want to relocate and move, right? And you're like, I just don't want to stay in this city no more. But you have a parent that grew up in that city, grew up in the house that y'all all living in, and they just do not want to leave that location. And you in the past have felt obligated to stay wherever you are to be close to this person. But you are realizing that this person would not have altered, changed their life or been uncomfortable in their life for you. You can actually reflect back to whoever this is and say, you know what? Now that I think about it, when I was a child and this person, parent, was parenting me, they often told me they didn't care about my feelings when it came to doing what was necessary. So why should I care about theirs in return now when it comes to doing what's necessary for me? There's some realizations hitting with my Sages that are causing them a little bitterness with this Queen of Swords in reverse and this Two of Wands in reverse. It's like you fought the good fight and you felt like you were doing the righteous thing by honoring your parents in such a way, or honoring a marriage, a relationship. This is all about loyalty. This is loyalty, where a Sag has been loyal to a particular person because of time spent with this individual, the title that this individual possessed. It could be a child. I don't see any pages here, so I'm not really picking up on a child. I'm picking up on parent or spouse. Is one of those, one or the other, if not both, that are causing my Sagittarius to say, you know what? I got to live for me. I have to live for me. And there's nothing wrong with that, Sag, right? Because guess what? When you secure the bag and make sure you're good with this 9 of coins being here, then you are able to take care of parental figures, a marriage with peace and harmony and progression because you're good. I always tell myself every day, and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to share it with probably more of my collective, but you always got to make sure your star player is good, and your star player is you. You know, they tell you when you're on an airplane, when that mask drop, you put your mask on first because you're no good to nobody if you can't breathe. I'm speaking to a Sagittarius collective that thought putting the mask on a child or a parental figure first was the way that they were supposed to operate throughout their life. And they're realizing, that has caused me not to be able to fulfill certain plans that I had for my life. Your plans are being delayed by people around you that hold significant title. And you are saying, you know what? No, I got to start putting up some boundaries and carving out space for me. No matter how difficult it may be, I have to do it, right? I know, Sag, that this is tugging at your heartstrings. And I know that there's a conditioning and a behavior that you're accustomed to that may cause you to backslide or fall off and fall back into these practices and habits. But you'll get there. And don't feel too guilty about taking care of yourself, Sag, because the better you take care of yourself, the more you pour into yourself, and the more you love yourself, the better you show up in this world, and the more use you can be to those that love you in a proper, healthy way, right? Because you don't want to overtax yourself to give to another, right? I'm guilty of this. I have done it, and I have to catch myself at times. You don't get special points or a star. You don't necessarily get anything extra for giving away what's on your plate to someone else. Nah. That's not always seen as favorable by the Most High, especially if they blessed you with something and you gave it away. It's like, no, I blessed you with that thing and you gave it to this knucklehead. No, matter of fact, you ain't getting nothing else until you learn how to see yourself in this storyline as the first domino that must fall. Like, you are the first one and nothing starts or happens without you. So, make sure that you're carving out space, time, and excuse me, love for yourself, Sag. I just heard a saying that my grandmother used to say to me all the time. She used to tell me all the time, like clockwork, you pay yourself first. When you get that paycheck, you pay yourself first. And that is the message that I need to give to you, Sag. Pay yourself first, whether it be in finance, fun, love, watching TV. Make sure you pay yourself first. When it's time to make the plates at dinner, make your plate first. Something to that nature. Put yourself first, Sag. And if you have not already began to think like that, you will in the first 2 weeks of February. And it will be shown to you why it's good for you to do so. And you're not going to miss a beat by being a little selfish. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's such a negative connotation around that word of being selfish, and it's not a bad thing. It's a time and a place for everything damn near in this world. You know what I mean? So many things going on, you can't say that it's not. It's a time and a place for everything. So just be aware of that, Sag. But we're going to take a look at the characters operating around my Sagittarius in the first 2 weeks of February. The people that will be impactful to your life, Sag. Let's see who those individuals are. All right, let's see. All right, let's get up into it, Sag. So you received chef, volunteer, athlete, detective, drunkard, madman, farmer, security guard, challenger, and barber. So it's a few different things going on. Some of you, when I got chef and volunteer together, I heard, what do they think? I'm running a soup kitchen? I'm picking up on a Sag who might have been the primary person who cooked in their house, and you getting tired of it. You getting tired of it. You know, you feeling like Mary Maids out here. Like, all you do is want to know what I got cooking on the stove. Like, somebody really, or a family really enjoys your food and how you cook, Sag, and you're starting to be annoyed by it. You know, you love the fact that they love the food. You're like, you know, that's great. I love that they love my food, but damn, you shouldn't be hanging on me for every meal that you consume. I gotta cook, and you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, dessert. And I'm picking up on Sag who does not cut corners when they get in the kitchen. It take time. They pulling out all the good ingredients. They ain't pulling nothing out of a box. So that's a lot of cutting, seasoning, prepping, and it's a lot of time that is being taken up and consumed by this act of having to be in the kitchen. So yeah, I am picking up on some of you who may use volunteer work to get about the house too. Like, I gotta go volunteer at this soup kitchen, you know, instead of feeding y'all. I don't know, like, but I am seeing that somebody is driving my Sag mad, or bodies. It's a family. It's the stress of having to be everything to a family, you know. I don't know why you are the end all be all in this situation, Sag, where it's multiple adults in a situation that can help contribute, but you seem to be the go-to, you know. And usually these are women, you know, of the house, the mothers. But I ain't getting into gender, because it could very well be a man in a household where they cooking, cleaning, mommy, daddy, therapist, money, everything. They gotta be everything, you know. I'm being advised to tell you to start working out. Start channeling some of that attitude and anger via working out, going to the gym, maybe even walking a track, listening to music, blowing off steam through exercise is going to help you, Sag. So get into a place where you can develop a system around a workout routine that will really help relieve some of the issue and anger and bitterness or whatever is coming off of you inside of this household. Someone could be using alcohol to escape their problems. I don't really pick up on the Sag doing this. This could be you having to deal with someone that you love who's an alcoholic, Sagittarius. And I understand how hard that can be. Like, alcohol is a hell of a drug, you know. It's not one of those things where it's an easy fix, you know. I've seen family members go through rehab of alcohol and are right back at it after they get out of the rehab, and it's so hard to get them to break away from it. And I strongly believe it's because alcohol is legal. So because alcohol is legal, and unlike the other drugs out here that people get addicted to, that they have to detox from, the accessibility of that drug is not as easy as alcohol. Alcohol in some states can be found at the gas station, you know. So it's a challenge for my Sag to have to deal with this person who is abusing alcohol. I know what that's like. It's such a discouraging thing to watch someone basically drink their life away, and there's not too much you can do about it. You can't chain them to the house, you know, and because alcohol is legal, you can't necessarily put them in a position to go to jail or be away from it. Like, it's hard. It is a very hard poison to manage. I used to drink heavily, and I understand what alcohol does. When they say what is it, wine and spirits, they ain't lying. Alcohol possesses a spirit inside of you. Even when you're not under the influence of alcohol, that residual spirit is there, and it may cause somebody to talk and behave reckless even when they're not intoxicated. You like, this person is just a jerk, and I'm over here making sure that they don't get beat up or go to jail, or, you know, this person could be driving while drunk. They causing you a lot of stress and struggle, Sag. And it's like you ready to throw your hands up, you know, like, I can't deal with this no more. You know, it's impacting you in such a way that is causing you hysteria to some degree, and is creating chaos in your world. And with Farmer being here again, this goes back to the example that I picked up on for a Sag who wants to relocate. I'm picking up on a Sag who lives up north and wants to move to a more rural farmland open area, but this parent and or individual in their life that they're tied to or chained to is causing them to have to remain where they are, and they are daydreaming about a place where they can go that has more space. There's trees, and you may even want to start a farm. You know, that might be a passion of yours, but you're being limited and held back by way of circumstance of family, friends, or whomever holds a very integral space in your life. Again, with security guard being here, I'm picking up on someone who may get arrested because of intoxication, whether it's driving while drunk, public intoxication and indecency, something like that. This person really challenges your life, Sag, in such a way. Some of you may be chefs, some of you may be in the hair care industry, with chef and barber being here, where especially in the barber or hair industry, nothing is a secret. So it may even be bringing some public humiliation to you, Sag, that is driving you crazy. So that is, or the individuals operating around you. Let's take a look at career and finance for my Sag collective. And if you haven't done so already, what you waiting on, Sag? Go ahead, like that, like this reading, comment, share, and subscribe for me. I would appreciate it. Let's see what's going on with your career and finances. Two more cards, please. Two more cards for my Saggies. All right, Sag, let's get up into it. So you receive journey, unfolding, flashback, ups and downs, answers, limitations, strategy, perspective, movement, and expression. So again, I'm going to get up into the traveling or moving, relocating part of the conversation because it's continuing into this spread. With journey being here, it says you may relocate to a new place, but right up underneath journey, you have limitations. There are things limiting you from moving, but I'm picking up on a Sag who is putting together a strategy and changing a perspective. Remember, I told you at first you might have thought, oh, I'm supposed to do everything my parent says or do everything that my significant other says to the letter. Right? And your perspective is changing quickly on that because how they move, how they think is for them. It's not for you. And not to say that you can't come together with another person that thinks completely different for you. I mean, completely different than you and not have movement. But no, the perspective is what is important here. And it has changed quite a bit for my Sag. And in changing your perspective, there will be movement in your life. You're starting to write down and express yourself very, very differently. People around you are just not ready or not expecting, not feeling how you are changing, Sag. And growth is a part of life. You like, listen, if I was to stay the same, then what's good in that? Anything that is not growing is dead. You know, your life is unfolding in such a way that when you look back, you probably would have never thought you would be here. I'll tell you that. And you've suffered some ups and downs. I'm picking up on, what's that? What's his name? Langston Hughes. My life ain't been no crystal stair. That's what I'm hearing with ups and downs when I see this staircase here. My life ain't been no crystal stair. You know, I need some answers. Why is it that me, Sag, who is dedicated, loyal, hardworking, prayerful, I need answers as to why I'm not moving forward or where I'm supposed to be. That's what I'm picking up on for my Sag. And that's because your perspective needs to change and you need to start developing a strategy around how you want to move forward in life. And I think, again, the limitations and what they are, you are beginning to see. It's starting to unfold and become just painstakingly evident, right? You can't deny who and what is holding you back. And a big part of that is you and how your perspective was maybe early 2025, but we go around the globe a whole year and my Sages are not the same that they were last year. And nobody stays the same, but the way you think and the blueprint of your strategy and what it was a year ago looks nothing like what it looks like now. If I had gave you this reading and was speaking about people around you that are burdening you, you would have been like, nah, they ain't no burden. I love my people. I love being of service. I love doing this. And not, your mindset around how you gave at the time was nothing like it is now. There's some resentment to some degree. And I'm here to tell you, no worries, Sag, for the time that you were dedicated down for the cause. Whoever you were in proximity to, maybe they had to learn a lesson about loyalty as a mirror. People often take for granted loyalties in certain people, and that's what I'm picking up on too. And sometimes you got to show people. You can show them better than you can tell them, like, nah, I'm not to be played with. I love you, and I suspect that you love me too, but you're not about to just use me up, and I ain't got nothing left to give in this life when I have so many big dreams, aspirations, and places that I want to go, and I haven't even gotten started. Oh no, I'm really picking up on a Sag who feels like they are behind in their life, whether it be where they live, where they are at in a relationship with their spouse or significant other, or maybe you don't even have one, or a career journey, and you feel like you're behind because you have been dedicating your energies and strengths and all of what you are to other people's dreams, to other people's living situation, to other people's relationship. You might have been lending so much so to everyone else that you did not take any time for yourself. And now you look up and you're looking at your life and you like, hold up. Everybody around me is happy because I help support and facilitate their dream to get them over the finish line. But my dreams ain't nowhere near being facilitated and brought to fruition. Hold up. Yeah. You always have to save something for yourself, but strategy and a change of perspective are worth its weight in gold, Sag. And this journey, this relocation, whatever it is, it may not be happening in the time frame that you want, but this shift in perspective is going to be the momentum you need to get the answers and movement to get this thing across the finish line, whatever it is as it relates to where you believe your life should be. I'm picking up on a Sag who at one point in their life, they knew what they wanted to be. Like when you were young, when you were in school and they were asking what you wanted to be when you grew up, you knew what you wanted to be. And now when you look at your life, you're like, I haven't done any of that. Right? And it's like, nah, I still want to do that. I still want to pursue those things. And I need to get started. So that is your career and finance message, Sag. Let's get up into this cross watcher edition. So for those that want to know what's going on with my Sag, they want to know what's the tea. What Sag got going on? Some of these cross watchers may want to know why you got an attitude. Like, why are you so sad? What's the energy like that for? Why your energy so low, Sag? Yeah, let's see. Let's see what's the tea on my Saggies. Why are they this way? I love my Saggies though. They like some of my favorite people, so no worries, Sag. You won't get to where you need to go in the time that you need to be there. Not a minute before. Yep, dust yourself off and try again. That's what I just heard by Aaliyah. If it didn't work the first time, dust yourself off and try again. For more cards on the floor. Yeah, my Sages are playing chess, not checkers. They don't want to waste no more time. Here it is, this chessboard coming out in an image on a card for the second time for my Sag. Yeah, y'all in plotting and planning mode. Y'all cooking up something. And you ain't got no time. Yeah, moves in silence. My Sages are out the way. Cross watcher, they out the way, minding their business. And all these fake accounts that you might be creating to watch and stalk them, that's why you're broke. Amen. Stop spending your time on them and mind the business that pays you. Because somebody upset that you're not a part of their life, Sag. But they won't admit it. Whoever this is, you think that they don't care. But they care because they watching right now. You just don't know it. It's the person that you would never guess. Like somebody that might have said or acted and behaved as if they don't care about you. Oh no. They mirroring, watching everything you do. You got some fans. Somebody got some fans. All right, cross watcher. We got dusted off, broke ass, fake accounts, ego, impersonator, scarcity tactics, wasting time, moves in silence, crying over you, and hustling. So the message that the Sag wants to give to the cross watcher is mind your business. They out the way. They hustling their ass off. They're strategizing, plotting, planning to reinvent their life. And I got some people that are watching my Sages heavily, closely, and they want to copy you. I'm getting a copycat. You know, what is the Sag into, right? This is someone I'm picking up on. This is someone who watches you because you, Sag, are usually ahead of the wave when it comes to trends or things that blow up. Like you're the person that will raise that thing in conversation before anyone in your friend group has ever even heard of it. Like I'm picking up on a Sag collective who talked about investing in Bitcoin before everybody was talking about investing in Bitcoin. I'm talking to a Sag collective who was talking about Bitcoin back in 2002. Right? And now everybody want to talk about Bitcoin. And Sag is like, I've been on Bitcoin. Right? So someone watches you or watches my Sag because they know this Sag is a hustler. They are ahead of the trends. They are really big and good at securing the bag when it comes to the things that other people may not realize are worthy investments. Y'all are great hustlers, good with money, good with I tell you this, once a Sag gets the mission and the plan set in their heart and in their mind, it ain't no stopping them. It's like they get blinders on. They don't want nothing to do with nobody. They become very disciplined. It is nothing that you could probably do to stop this Sag from achieving what they set out to do once they start working at it. But their mind has to be right first and their heart has to be in it too. So in their mind, they could know very well what they need to do. And we all do. Like we all know that going to the gym will help increase or they say will add longevity to our lives, right? It will help enhance our health. We all know that, but that doesn't mean that we getting up going to the gym. We all know diet is a good way to help heal certain ailments. You change your diet, you can heal certain issues inside of you as it relates to your health. Doesn't mean that we have the discipline to do it. It's when you set it in your heart. It's when my Sag set this thing in their heart. That's when the motor starts to rev up and they start moving, right? Because in your mind, intelligently, you know right from wrong. You know what to do, what not to do, right? You can see. And this Sag has great foresight, right? They can see what's coming. But having the courage and the space and the time and the boldness to act on it has to come from your heart. And sometimes your heart being broken is the thing that triggers your heart to get in line with your mind to start moving and making shit happen. Yeah. And that is the mode that my Sages are in. They are out the way. They ain't wasting no time. Somebody wasting time though. Watching, clocking, and all up in my Sag's business. But the Sag is hard to tie down. This person want to catch up with Sag bad. They want to pick your brain, Sag. They got some questions for you. I honestly don't pick up that this person's intentions are bad, but my Sag don't have the time to lend to this person as it relates to giving guidance and assistance. That was 2025 Sag. Yeah, you should have caught up with Sag and started asking them questions last year, because Sag is got they blinders on and are on a mission to secure their legacy by way of their steps, their actions, their time. Yeah, they ain't really giving too much space to someone else's situation right now. So if you need the Sag's assistance in any way right now, whether it be advice or money or somewhere to live or anything like that, if you not in that Sag's trusted circle, it's probably going to be hard for you to obtain that thing from the Sagittarius, because their mindset right now is very much take care of themselves, mind the business that pays them, take care of the people that they are ultimately responsible for, aka children, and maybe their job. But that's about it. Sag ain't got too much for anyone else. They ain't got no extra for no one else. Yeah, they are preserving their energy, time, money for themselves and the people that matter dearly to them. That's it. That's all. Yep. Well, that is your message, Sag. And until next time, I hope that this helps. Peace.